My name's Bobby Escay.
How long have you been on power cranks?
I've been on power cranks for about 6 weeks of riding power cranks.
Okay. What was your experience before you got on them?
Former long-distance runner quite a while ago, very long time ago. Never been a cyclist racer. Actually, this year will be my first time racing, so I'll be doing the Cat 5. But I did do a lot of endurance cycling just because I like endurance events and climbing. So I've completed 5 death rides. Last year I did the Summer Solstice, Super Century, Mount Shasta, and training-wise, just a lot of hilly, long rides.
So I would say that you're an experienced endurance athlete, but you've never really competed, at least in cycling events. You're not really race competitive, but you're experienced endurance athlete and experienced cyclist endurance. Is that with that?
Yeah, the longer and the more climbing, the longer, the more I like it.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, now you said that a long time ago. You don't look that old. How old are you?
I'm 35.
35. Okay. And you said endurance runner? Where you did marathons or ultra marathons?
No, I ran cross country, track and field, and I ended up running, for a pretty good famous high school in Sacramento, Jesuit High School. Then went and ran for a really famous coach, Al Beta, at American River Junior College, and then from there went to UC Berkeley and ran for them.
Okay, but you haven't been running really since you graduated?
No. My knees have. Okay. But cycling doesn't bother my knees, so that's what I'm doing now.
Do you see the potential for power cranks and runners?
Oh, huge. The first ride, all I'd done was read about how good power cranks are for runners, and actually my first ride, I thought, being a former runner, I thought, I understand right away why power cranks are beneficial to runners, because same muscles. I felt my hip flexors were just being worked. That first day I had them, the muscles near my shins that prevent shin splints were being worked. Could feel it in my calves. I could see how it could really help runners. Actually, this is pretty funny, but my brother has been running, and since I used to run but haven't in a long time, we had a little bet that I could beat him around a 3-mile loop around near my house, and I've just been riding power cranks. He's been running off and on, and we raced, and I ended up beating him without having run, and I'm sure part of that was due to the power cranks.
So, pretty experienced endurance athlete and cyclist. Tell us about your first ride.
My first ride on power cranks?
Power cranks, yes. Not your first ride ever.
My first ride on power cranks, I'd read everything about people lasting 15 minutes, 10 minutes, everything, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go 40 miles. I'm going to do my 40-mile ride that I normally do. And I did it. I completed my 40 miles, but really I should have probably done 20 max, because the whole way home I was just pedaling and gliding, just pretty much survival mode to get home. My hip flexors were just on fire, and it was unbelievable.
Were you able to get off the bike when you got home, or did you need help?
I got off the bike, but I suffered for the next 3 days with my hip flexors, and every time I attempted to ride after that, they were pretty shot.
Another thing, so how did you get on the power cranks? What was it that got you on?
Well,
your cousin, right?
My cousin Ken had been. He's the first one who stumbled upon them. We looked at them on the website, and I thought, oh, how cool would this be, and it was just always a thought, but neither of us ever jumped on it. And finally, he did. He ended up buying them. So did my friend Jason. And I thought, hey, these are 2 of the main guys I ride with, and while they adjust, I can't ride with them anymore. Perfect excuse to get power cranks. The first week or so, I would ride with my cousin Ken, and we'd be side by side, and when I'd be really fatigued one day and he wouldn't be as fatigued, I'd struggle to keep up with him and vice versa another day, and it just made me, you know, want to stick to my guns. And I really, you really have to make that commitment though of you know, you're going to really go down before you can come up, and you need to make sure you're committed to riding these things exclusively for a while. But riding with other people using them did help, especially when doing the longer rides with the hills.
Can you tell people a little bit about how your adaptation went? How long was it before you started to say, okay, I'm getting these, I see a breakthrough here, a little bit about that adaptation, how it went for you?
The first 4 days were pretty miserable, but challenging and fun in a strange way. The fifth day I had my first breakthrough where I was able to actually ride them for a decent amount of time without having to stop and glide and rest. And the fifth day I felt my dead spots going away. I felt a lot more fluidity, and just kept at it. And by the fourth week, one of my goals was in the beginning was to be able to ride my normal long rides, and actually try to beat my buddies while I use power cranks. But on the fourth week, I was able to ride a 74 miler with 7,000 feet of climbing, and actually my cousin Ken did that as well with me, and we were just stoked. I mean, we were high-fiving, you know, we did it, this is great, I can't believe we did this on power cranks, and it's just a lot of fun. I mean, it put a new excitement to riding.
And you said that took about 4 weeks?
It took about 4 weeks.
Yeah, is the feedback, I think that's about normal, is that maybe at the end of the first week, I mean, people hear all these horror stories, you know, but at the end of the first week, power cranks are starting to feel pretty normal to people, and by the end of the month, they're back to where they were in terms of distance and effort. Some people take a little longer, some people a little faster, but that's it seems to me you're about normal. So the adaptation isn't nearly as bad as what maybe you feared.
I agree. Reading horror stories online just makes it seem, you know, like some impossible feat, saying I'm some pro rider and I couldn't even last 10 minutes.
Right.
And here I am, just an average Joe Schmo. You know, I'm not some big racer, so I'm a pretty average person. And yet, you know, if I stuck with it, and after the first week, I started seeing improvements. That first week, if you're not determined, you'll want to take them off. But after a week, it's fine, and within a month, I was back to my normal rides.
And so now you've set a goal for yourself, right?
Yes, I have.
And what is that goal?
It's to complete the 2008 Markleyville Death Ride using power cranks.
Very cool. And how far in the future is that from now? About 4 months, is that right?
4 months, yes.
4 months.
4 months.
And so you've been on them 6 weeks.
Yes.
And you're going to do the Markleyville Death Ride, which is how many passes? What is it?
It's 5 passes, 129 miles is what they advertise, with over 15,000 feet of climbing, going up front and back side of Monitor Pass, Ebbets Pass, and Carson Pass.
Okay. And how'd you do last year?
Pretty well. I ended up with a time of about total ride time, including my rests and everything, 8 hours and 20 minutes. So it's a ride that I look forward to every year. My favorite ride.
Very cool. So we'll have something to compare.
Yes. Yes.
Very cool. So you'll be the first one to have done Death Ride on power cranks, and we'll follow your progress.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be so exciting.
Cool. Any suggestions for the masses out there who might be contemplating them, or or have anything you want to say?
If you're thinking about them, really just make the commitment that I'm gonna give these things an honest shot. I'm gonna put these on. I'm gonna want to take them off possibly, but if I stick with it, it'll pay off. I've gotten faster riding. My favorite's climbing hills, and climbing hills I've felt stronger, and this is in a short period of time.
Very cool. So, well, thank you very much.